The Vera Thomas Show. The Vera Thomas Show. The Vera Thomas Show. The Vera Thomas Show. Let's talk about it. 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 On the Vera Thomas Show. Let's talk about it. Yeah.
I am Shalami Hickman.
My name is Wihed Shushan Kapuchi.
My name is Ambria Schiff.
For now, I am engaged here in Elevate Life Network, and I'm taking that course of Medical Administration Assistant.
I am origin from Tunisia. I am a future coding builder, and I am happy for that.
I'm 26 years old. I am a mom of 5.
I have no time to study and raise my kids. I find this program and it's fit me very well.
It's a 6-month free program. It's a lot here that they offer to you. They have supported community. They will help you in your personal growth. This is like your personal growth and also your professional career.
My goals and dreams for the future is to finish this, get into somebody's medical office, taking appointments and everything, being a medical assistant. And then eventually I would like to move up and to be like a registered nurse and then move up and be a labor and delivery nurse.
So they prepared how you carry yourself, how to discover your weakness and strength so that when you have your careers, when you done your program, you are ready personally, not only professionally. So they will go by step, like you're taking your ladder so that you will become what you want to be.
So for somebody who wants to do something with their life, even like if it's just a foot in the door, I feel like this is a great program.
If you want to work and you want to join this program, you can do it together because there is a flexible schedule.
This is a big step for me to meet my goal someday, you know. I'm almost there, and with the support of this Elevate Life Network, I can reach what I want to be. One day, you know, I'm successful. I just believe in myself and believe the support that they are given to me, and I can be me.
Yes, we're talking about Elevate Life Network. Hello, hello, hello. I am so excited tonight that my guest, Diana Spalding, she is the executive director of Elevate Life. And before I bring her to the stage, let me just share a little bit about her. She leads with a heart for people and a vision for lasting impact. Born and raised in Canton, Ohio, she carries a deep love for her community and a passion for creating pathways to self sufficiency and growth. Diana's belief that people's barriers can become their opportunities shapes her leadership in the program. She creates an environment and curriculum that identifies, builds, and unleashes individuals' unique abilities to best serve their community and career. Through personal and career development programs and community support, Diana works to empower individuals to build stronger, brighter futures for themselves and their families. When she's not serving the community, Diane enjoys baking, and spending time with her husband and three daughters. Well, Diana, I am just honored to have you here tonight. And I am going to give you the floor and allow you some time to share a little more about you, including what was your childhood like and how did it shape you and impact you?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me, Vera. It's always wonderful to be around you. You have that infectious, joyful personality that I think the world could use more of. So I love being around you. Like you said, I grew up on the southwest end of Canton, born and raised in Canton. Went through Canton City schools from kindergarten all the way through 12th grade. Graduated from McKinley. So go Bulldogs. Um, I had a really good childhood. I never really lived extravagantly, but I never went without either. Our family vacations were more camping rather than hotel stays, but they were memorable, and we did get away every summer. So um, my mom was a stay-at-home mom, and my dad, he worked long hours to provide. So he wasn't there every holiday or every birthday or for every event, but I always knew, it wasn't because he didn't want to be there. It was because he was out providing for the family. Growing up in the Canton City school system, as I got older, I started noticing that there were kids who didn't have um, the essentials that they needed. I'd have classmates or friends that struggled with just basic necessities, and even as a kid, that bothered me deeply. And I was raised in the church, been a Christian all my life, and I knew that even as a Christian and following Jesus, he never promised that your life would be easy, but I always believed that everyone deserves a life with dignity and deserved basic necessities, food, shelter, safety, and opportunity. So starting probably in middle school, I started volunteering a lot, giving back to the community, helping those in need. And I remember helping quite frequently at the Total Living Center. It was pretty close to my house in the southwest end of Canton, but I helped all around the community and gave back whenever I could. So fast forward to a couple of years ago, Pastor Joel Atkins of Westbrook Park Church, he approached me and said, "Hey, I believe that our church, Westbrook Park, is called to help break this cycle of poverty that's so prevalent in the Canton community." And he felt that I was the one to lead it. And so I took some time and prayed, as I always do with big decisions. And I knew deep down that the Elevate Life Network was a good fit for me, kind of fit right in my wheelhouse, my passions for helping those in need and helping people overcome their barriers. So after praying, I really felt that was my calling. So that's what led me here to Elevate Life Network.
That's amazing. So, actually, the name, did you choose the
Mhm.
name Elevate Life?
Yes, when we were bringing this to Canton, it's actually started from a program that's in Denver. It started in 2012. It's called Cross Purpose. And so our pastor went out around 2020 out there and saw this program and said, I think we need to bring this to Canton. The Canton community could really benefit from this. So they will help you bring the program to your community, but you can't use their name. So we had to come up with a name. And event at first we called it Master Plan for Life. And when they asked me to come up or to take over the program, I didn't quite love that name. It just didn't have a ring to it for me. So going through lots of iterations of names and back and forth, and AI helping me out, we landed on Elevate Life Network.
Okay, AI is good.
It
It can
is.
help a lot. A lot.
It is an
There's a lot
employee
of
of our organization.
there's a lot of people that have, it's controversial,
Hmm.
but it can be very beneficial. And especially, I know there's one perplexity that really provides data and facts and research in anything and everything that you do through it. So AI can be very beneficial. So Tell us a little more about Elevate Life. We saw the video of these women talking about how their lives have been transformed as a result of their engagement with the program. So, and I see the beauty of your program is you have a diverse group of women that you're working with that are, it's an international participation, which is beautiful, which really is applicable. And the reason why we call this show Live Different Together. And that is just absolutely beautiful. So, if you could take a few minutes and just kind of share components of that program.
Yep. Well, the one thing poverty is it does not discriminate. So that's
That's
we,
true.
uh, so
That's
we are
true.
diverse. um,
And
um,
and poverty, it does not discriminate, but it's also as much a state of mind as it is a condition. And we
yeah.
may lack in some things, but that does not make us impoverished. I think it's more our state of mind. But I'm going to shut up and let you talk about this.
Well, there are many different kinds of poverty. Mostly when you think of poverty, you think of economic poverty. But our mission here at Elevate Life Network is to abolish not only economic, but relational and spiritual poverty through career and community development. So we're trying to hit three different kinds of poverty um, in one. So we are a religious organization, but we take people of all faith backgrounds and anything spiritual that we do offer, and we do offer spiritual components, is optional for people. We don't believe in forcing anybody to take our views. We do talk about ourselves and our faith journey and our past, which because faith is so important to my past. When I'm talking, I definitely do talk about my faith, but you don't have to be a Christian to be a part of the program. Um, but with with poverty, I know a lot of people think of that old wise tale, I guess, or saying, you give a man a fish, he eats for a day. You teach a man to fish,
He's
he eats for a lifetime. Um, we go by that, but I think there's one more step that people forget, and it's that we should really teach people how to buy the pond because that's the American
I
dream, right?
love it.
Um,
Yes.
so at Elevate Life, that's where we're really trying to go. We're trying to go from generational poverty to generational wealth. And so right now we have two programs and a third one that's in the works. So our first program, it's going to be going, I should say we only have really one that's our bread and butter. The one is going to go live July 7th. It's a brand new program. It's called Launch. It's our Give a Man a Fish, if you will, program. So this is just kind of an entry level program. It's designed for people that are getting certain benefits through JFS and they need those workforce development hours. It's really for people that maybe you want to re-enter the workforce, you want to change a career. Maybe you're just in a situation where maybe you're experiencing some homelessness or you're couch surfing or you're coming out of incarceration. You're a refugee new to the country and just trying to figure out what you want to do. That's really what we're building Launch for. It's completely online, so there's no schedule that you have to stick to. You can do it pretty much at your own pace. Um, it should take about 6 weeks. That's what we've designed it in a weekly, but you could go faster. You have to finish it within 12 weeks or you do get cut off. So we want you to finish it in a timely manner. But participants are getting those fundamental workforce skills that they need to be to take those steps towards stability and self-sufficiency. So that's our Give a Man a Fish, and that's going to go live July 7th. And again, that's going to be for people receiving certain benefits through JFS. And then we have our bread and butter, our leader program. That's what all those girls were going through. And again, men can go through our program as well. So far, it's been more women driven, but men are welcome as well. And this is our Teach Amanda Fish program, if you will. So this is for someone who's ready to find a career. And this one, we've partnered up with Penn Foster College, and we have 10 career tracks that they can choose from. And they can go through the Penn Foster College program completely free. All of our programs, by the way, are completely free.
Oh,
We do this by
wow.
the generosity of donors. We realize that I think everybody's gotten to where they are living the American dream because somebody helped them, whether or not it was
Yeah.
their parents or something, somebody helped them. We want to be that program that has helped. So we help, go out and try to find donors that say, you know what, I want to be that person that helps someone. Um, because some people just, they don't have that person to help them through. And that's
That's
why they're lacking that
true.
opportunity. They are completely capable, regardless of what their past tells them, they're capable. They just don't have that person to help them through that journey. Um, so um, our 10 career tracks, I have to look at them because we just added some, and so I forget some all the time. We have administrative assistant, medical administrative assistant, medical billing and coding, bookkeeping, paralegal, residential electrician, plumber, diesel mechanic, appliance repair, and HVACR repair. So these are jobs that you can get. And I mean, again, we pay for the whole Penn Foster program. And if you need a certification in that, we'll also pay for that certification as
Oh
well.
my
Um,
goodness.
so you come out completely debt free. And our goal is all of these programs will get you an entry level at least $17 an hour. So if you're working 40 hours a week, that's a little over $35,000 a year. But some of these, most of them actually are averaging around 41 to 44,000 a year. The trades are huge. There's
They
about
are.
3,000 deficit, or 3 million deficit, I'm sorry, of the trades. People are retiring and there's not enough people to fill them. Um, and so we're trying to get people in those trades positions. Um, and then we do help them walk through the finding a job as well. Um, once they um, graduate from that and get their certificate. But the big difference we have than most workforce development programs is the first 6 weeks of our program. We don't just jump in and go straight to school. We found that most people they get the certifications, they can get the job, but they don't keep the job because they lack
Mhm.
the soft skills or the
Yes.
emotional intelligence to keep the job.
Yes,
So
yes.
we spend our first 6 weeks here in a classroom environment working through a model called the Me Tree. We got that from Cross Purpose in Denver. And it works through that self awareness and emotional intelligence. And it also is going to work through any of that past trauma. Now, we're not counselors, so we don't open too deep and we do refer out for anything that needs counseling. But we strongly suggest that they work through that so that they can be successful, so that when they get out in the workforce, those things don't end up costing them a job and a career. And then that's usually the first 2.5 weeks of that 6 weeks. And then we shift to professional development. We start getting them ready so they can have a professional resume, start talking about etiquette on the phone and email etiquette and how to deal with workplace conflict, because it's not if, it's when it's going to happen. And it can make you stronger if you deal with it properly and healthfully. Um, and it just depends on what your past has told you on how to deal with conflict, on how you're going to respond to it. So we try to
Absolutely.
give them a 5-step process on how to healthfully deal with conflict, and also tell them, hey, this is a line that you have to have a line, and you don't cross it, and when you should just walk away. Um,
Absolutely.
so we talk about that. We do get them interview skills as well, and we even do mock interviews. So we go through all that in the first 6 weeks. That way, once they're done with the Penn Foster portion, they're
They're
ready to go,
ready. They're ready.
and they can
Well,
start looking for the job. And we have a full-on
awesome.
graduation as well at
That
the
is
very end. They walk with
so
robes,
awesome.
and so because some of them have never had a full graduation, some of them went and got their
Right.
GED, or some of them don't even have a GED. So we celebrate with they don't have to. That's not a requirement, but we've never had someone that's made it that far not want to walk the stage and get their diploma. So, but that's our give a man a fish, and I mean, really, we're equipping them with a strong pull so that they're going to have a career. They're all entry level positions, so they all have growth potential. And then we
That
have the legacy. Oh, go ahead.
That is okay, I want you to talk about legacy, but
Mhm,
can you share those 5 points that you mentioned
mhm,
about getting them from, and I mean the emotional intelligence and all of that is so critical. And
mhm,
for parents in the workplace, in the home, it is so critical. And you
mhm,
talked about the unresolved issues that often stem from their own childhood, and helping them to
mhm,
understand that your past does not define your future. And
mhm,
so that is just absolutely beautiful. If you could share those 5 points, then I can put them in the chat,
mhm.
so that people can refer to them.
Are you talking about the Mitri or the 5 points for dealing with conflict?
The 5 points for dealing with conflict. That is
All
just
right, you're gonna
because
test me. You're gonna test me here. All right. So I just went through them. My daughter's gonna kill me. With my daughter, she had conflict at work, and I told her, I said, "These are the points you go through." I promise you.
yes.
So let's see. All right, first you have facts. Facts are, it sounds so easy,
Yes.
difficult because as humans, we want to look at our side. It's not our side, it's the true facts of the situation. What are the
Yes.
facts
Yes.
of the situation? Then, two, what are my feelings? You always have feelings attached to those facts. What were the feelings
Yeah.
that came up? And you have to be able to articulate those feelings. So I always use this example. Now my husband's going to be mad at me. So, for example, I made dinner and my husband was late coming home from work, but he didn't tell me I had dinner ready. Now I'm mad because he didn't tell me he was coming home. I got to get the kids somewhere. So here's the conflict. It made me upset. Why? Maybe because I didn't feel like he respected me. I worked too. I had meal ready. You weren't home. Okay. So then third is needs. What needs were not met that made me have those feelings? There's always a need attached to feelings. What wasn't met? And so I'd say, well, it made me feel this way because I need, to feel, you know, safe, respected, needed, whatever that need is that you need. And then four, oh my goodness, I'm going to lose four. What is four? Hmm,
Evidence. Is evidence one of
no,
them?
it is not. Oh, the fifth one, I know the fifth one is request. What are you going to request for them to do to change? Facts, feelings, needs. Oof, I'm gonna have to look it up real fast.
And as you're looking it up, in
Yes.
addition to facts, having evidence of those facts, when this
Yes.
happened, that's
Mhm.
very important. So, for example, when you didn't come home on time, I
Yes.
felt,
Yeah. You have to be
because
able to articulate it because they don't know how you're feeling, and they'll have a
exactly.
completely different, um, reaction to that. Oh, your part. I'm sorry, it was your part.
Yes.
It was your part.
Okay.
Actually, you
What
should
was
say
your
that right after the
part?
fact, because even if it's a small part, you had a part in it. So my
Yes.
part might have been that I didn't tell him that I was gonna have dinner ready or the schedule had changed. But by owning your part, you can disarm the other person so they don't feel so attacked,
Yes.
in it. So it's facts, your part, feelings, needs, and then what are you requesting? Hey, maybe next time text me when you're gonna be late, or we're gonna eat dinner at 6 o'clock, whether you're home or not. Then,
I
but
yes.
just because you request it, we always doesn't mean they're gonna do that.
That's
Um,
true. That's
And that's when
true.
we get into conflict when it goes wrong. So know when HR needs to step in or when you need to walk away.
Yes, but you know what? If individuals in the workplace would do things like this and do this process, there would
Mhm,
be less conflict in the workplace, and there would also be less need to
mhm,
have to involve HR in your process. And this is
mhm.
interesting because I just went through the same thing recently, with a coworker.
Yes.
And for the first, we sat down and we talked, and we both expressed
Mhm,
the facts, okay?
mhm,
the feelings that came up, and we went through this process yesterday.
And it's not
Yesterday.
comfortable. It's not
It's not.
comfortable. And I tell them it is not a Hallmark movie. I realize that because I think sometimes they think I'm trying to make conflict in the workplace look like a Hallmark movie. It is not. It's never going to be, even
No.
when you go through these 5 steps. But it can make it at least so that you're on the same page, walking away, both feeling heard and understood. And then you have at least those requests, and you at least both have something that you feel like, okay, I can work with this person. You don't have to be friends with these people. You just have to work
Right.
with them. You don't
Right.
have to, go to dinner with them. You just have to work with them.
Yes.
Um, so what can you do to just be able to work amicably together from 9 to 5, Monday through
Yes.
Friday, and,
Yes.
and get the job done? And if you deal with conflict healthfully, it can actually make relationships better, and it can tell you which relationships mean something to you in your personal life and your professional life. Which ones are you
Absolutely.
willing to work on, and which ones are you saying, I don't want to work on this? That kind
Absolutely.
of tells you something too.
Exactly. And we have one of our listeners. Good evening, Frutina. Thank you so much for being here. She's one of my favorite followers. I mean, she's thank you for being here. Um okay, so you can reach Diana. Her email is diana.spalding@elevatelife.network.com. Her website is diana.spalding. Oh, I put it
Oh
twice?
no, I might
Wait.
have. The website is elevatelifenetwork.com.
Okay, I'm sure that was in the chat and I just didn't. Yes, it's right here. I will make the change. Let's see. Let me do that right now. Yes. All right. Let me save. All right. Now we'll come back. There it is. Website elevatelifenetwork.com. And listen, I need to do a commercial and then
Yep.
we will come right back. I'm going to, okay. Yeah. Let me go ahead and do this.
Forgiveness is a powerful tool for personal growth, allowing us to let go of resentment and move forward. The key to inner peace and emotional well-being. Apologies and forgiveness go hand in hand, creating space for healing and reconciliation. Inner work and willingness are essential in the process of forgiveness, requiring us to confront our own emotions and vulnerabilities. Taking a broader perspective on actions helps us understand the complexities of human nature and the impact of forgiveness on relationships. The journey of self-discovery is intertwined with forgiveness, leading us to a deeper understanding of ourselves and others. Follow Divine Marketing Pro for more personal growth.
Divine marketing. Let me tell you, Ariel Chime, she will take your purpose, your passion, and whatever it is that the message you're trying to send, and she will make it authentic unto you. That is why it's called authentic divine marketing. You can check her out at https://bit.ly/divine chime. Check out Ariel Chime, authentic divine marketing. Okay. Yes. Let me hide that and bring yours back up. All right. Now, thank you for those 5 points that I put in the comments because people need to understand that we have to take control and responsibility for our feelings. And we can't blame other people for how we feel. You know, as Eleanor Roosevelt said, no one can make you feel inferior without your permission. I take it a step further. No one can make you feel any kind of way without your permission. And so, what you're doing with these young people and having this Penn Foster College, do you have a limit in terms of the number of people that you can send to that school?
Right now, we are at for the September 8th class that we have is 30. We'll accept up to 30 for that class. We're at 7 right now. And then February 24th, we have a class coming up February 24th, and we have 2 accepted. And we would go up to 30 for that class as well.
Okay, so it sounds like we need to partner. We need to partner so that because knowing that they can get this education, especially like HV, HVAC,
HVACR.
yes, and I mean
Mhm.
people could eventually have their own business with that training, as well as some of the other things that is offered. So I didn't realize that your organization did all those things, and kudos
Mhm.
to you. That is
Thank you.
amazing. You are
Mhm.
truly doing the work to elevate a life. And so, what was the third thing you were going to share in your
Oh,
program?
to buy the pond. So that's Legacy. Right now, Legacy is our alumni association. So when you graduate from Leader, you ultimately become part of the a Legacy association. And right now we're meeting twice a year. We want to keep those relationships that we build during those 6 months going. So we meet twice a year. All the graduates come together. So you start to build more. It's important. The more people that you can connect with in the community, more relationships you have, the better. So it's important. We meet in July and December. But ultimately, our long term vision is for it to become a program like Leader and Launch. And it would be more of a long term program. It would probably be at least 2 years, maybe 3 years, because what we would be doing is helping them build wealth. Um, we would be looking at home ownership, helping them now that they've gotten a job and they've got a stable income that's sufficient. Um, it's what I see so much. We do a little bit of financial um, planning, how to get out of debt and the debt pitfalls, and then how to plan a budget. I see so many people that they don't know. They've been living paycheck to paycheck, and sometimes not even that. They've been trying to decide between the electric bill and food. And so the idea of even having a savings is so foreign that they don't even allow themselves to have that idea. And trying to get them to understand that this is a reality for you is kind of a challenge. So we want to build a program where not only is it a reality, but we can help them down that path. So we can help them through um, the process of home ownership, and ultimately, we would love um, to have people that would be donors that would want to help somebody through that process, um, and then help them with retirement savings and help them with you know investment um, building and building a portfolio, because then they're going to go to the point where they're going to have generational wealth, and now they're going to break that cycle of generational poverty, and now they're going to be passing down generational wealth, and that's really going to make a huge difference. I think I've lost your audio. Let's see if I can.
That's because
Oh,
I was
now I
on
got you.
mute.
Okay, there we go. I'm like,
I
okay,
was
is it
on
me?
mute. And what I was saying is, we do an extensive financial literacy program. And so maybe, we can add to collaboration with you on. I see collaboration. Let me just say that. I see collaboration because you're doing some awesome things, and you can reach her, Diana Spalding, at elevatelifenetwork.com. check out the website at elevatelifenetwork.com. And I am going to do another commercial and we will be right back. Let me get it. Father, provider, protector, role model for a son. The image of the man that will be the husband of your daughter when that time comes. What's best for your children should be concern number one, regardless of any obstacles a father must overcome. Sometimes the injustices of our society towards many of our fathers can make it hard to stand, but you gotta stand and be a man and a father to your children in every way you possibly can. Demonstrate their worth through you by the words that you say and the things that you do. Don't ever put your children down or call them out of their name. They may become whatever you claim. Lift them up to higher ground. Let their inner beauty be seen, be found. Show them and tell them how special they are. Be the light. Be the light. Be the light to take them far. Show them and tell them how much you really care and let them know no matter what, you will always, in all ways, be there. Pray that our fathers will be guided by the light to lead their children in the ways that are right. Yes, I was trying to pull up the, yeah, there it is. Okay. So on June 25th, we are doing the Fatherhood Mastermind, which will be at the Urban League from 6 to 8. And this program is designed for fathers to explore what it is they're doing right and what it is they're doing well, but also to look at how can I improve. And so this program is designed, the fathers that have participated in this program, they have literally come back to me months after to tell me that they have implemented the things that they got from this program. An example, one of the fathers, he used to criticize his daughter. And as a result of the program, instead of criticizing his daughter, he now asks her questions like, what made you do that? Help me understand your process. And he got that from the class. Another father, he came in and told me, he says, I used to yell at my kids all the time. And now I don't yell at them. And so, fathers, this program is not designed to beat you up and to tell you you're doing a bad job. It's to help you look at what you're doing well and how you can be better. So join us on June 25th from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Urban League, 1400 Sherrick Road Southeast. And the module is going to cover understanding your role, overcoming obstacles, building strong relationships, nurturing self worth, not only in your children, but in yourself. So many times fathers feel beaten down. You need to recognize your self-worth as well. And then that communications and bonding. So join us on June 25th, 6 to 8 p.m. at the Urban League. All right. Now, you've got some things coming up, correct?
Yes.
We talked about your July 7th launch.
Mhm.
And then the other program, you got one coming up. Well, September 30th is the deadline for people to register to go to Penn. And it's
Oh no,
whatever.
that's September 8th is when the classes start. So the deadline for that is going to be, oh, let me get the the date,
I'm glad I
August.
said
I would
that.
have it'll be August 25th will be the last day we take applications, that Monday.
August 25th. Okay. I have
Mhm.
to keep that in mind. And I'd like to get some information from you so that we can
Mhm.
share it out. That is
Absolutely.
wonderful. And you also, before we came on, you were telling
Mhm.
me about this special project that
Mhm.
you've worked with. And I want you to share with our audience about that project.
Yeah, so actually, the whole reason that I was that Joel Atkins asked me to be the director of Elevate Life was because the year before that, he had asked me if I would be interested in being the director of A Night to Shine, which is a prom night for people with special needs, and it's hosted all around the world. It's sponsored by the Tim Tebow Foundation. It's on the Friday before Valentine's Day, and so host churches all around the world actually host it that same night, from 6 to 9 p.m. And so Westbrook became a host church. And so I did that. And it is just an absolutely amazing evening. I had to step away this year, take a more background role because Elevate Life is just taking up more time than I can commit to the night to shine. So a good friend of mine, Mark Alatzis and Kristen Alatzis, they graciously stepped up to take on that role of directing the event. But it's going to be February 13th. We partnered with Canton City Schools for that, and we host it at the Timken Career Campus, because between the guests that we have, which we have right around 150 guests with special needs that come to the prom night. And then it takes about 300 volunteers to put this event on. Each guest gets a buddy that helps them have just an unforgettable evening. And then we need just volunteers. We do, the event is completely complimentary for each guest. So it takes a village. They have a red carpet. They get to walk down a red carpet. Each guest is crowned king and queen of the prom. We have karaoke. Obviously, there's a DJ for dancing. There's a catered dinner. They get limo rides. There's hair and makeup touch-ups. There's shoe shine. There's games for them, and then we even have a respite area. We know that the caregivers of someone who with special needs, they work 24/7, and so we give them the night where we have a background checked volunteer, that's their buddy, take them around for the night, and then the caregiver can go to the respite area. We have an area that's just upstairs in the Timpton Career Campus where they can have a bird's eye view of the event, but they can have a catered dinner. We have chair massages for them. And they can kind of just be pampered upstairs while their loved one is having
Wow.
a good evening downstairs. So it takes a village. It costs a little over $30,000 to put on this event.
Oh
So
my
any
goodness.
donation is welcome. Corporate sponsorships, we have corporate sponsorships and donations. That's what we're really working on getting on now. We're working on putting together our second annual golf outing. That's going to be hopefully at the end of September. We're still working with the golf course to get that nailed down, but it'll be on the website, nighttoshinecanton.com, once that goes live, or once that gets settled, the date. And then volunteer registration is going to go live August 2nd. And there are so many roles. Our biggest need is buddies. They do need a background check, but we cover the cost of that background check. It is only, I think it's, I want to say it is $8 for a background check. The Tim Tebow
Okay.
Foundation got a discount through a great provider. So we cover it, or you can say, oh, I'll cover mine to help out. But if you don't have the funds, we will cover it. So that's a big role, but we also need people to help serve food. We need people to help around the dance floor. We need, people to help check in guests and help, even people to check in the volunteers. I mean, we need volunteers to get volunteers in the building. I mean, it is just such, but you can't leave that event without a smile on your face. You can have the worst day, but you will come to that event and you will leave in the best mood. I mean, it's just a wonderful, wonderful community. It is just some of the most deserving people, they just, you know, they didn't get to experience prom like we all got to experience prom. And to be able to come to an environment where they don't have to feel judged or feel like, um, if they don't, if they act a certain way, someone's going to look or laugh or point, you know, um, we feel that, you know, God made them just the way they were. They were made for a purpose. And so, you know, we want to make sure that they know that they are loved by the community and that God loves them. And so that's what that night is all about.
That is beautiful. That is absolute. And you know, hearing about this makes me want to say, I'll volunteer if I can help in any way. And Bettina was asking, is this virtual? Now, that particular
Which
event is not. Are you talking about the training that she mentioned? Can you put in the chat if you're talking about the training that she talked about? And I do want to ask that question. Um, the July 7th launch, are you
Mhm.
going to make it so that you said it's online. So
It's
it being
completely,
online, anyone from across the
well,
country.
it's only for Stark County, because they
Oh,
have to be
okay.
connected with Stark County JFS. We really created this for people that need workforce development through Stark County JFS. So they have
Okay.
to meet certain criteria. If when you fill out
Okay.
the application, if you don't meet the criteria, we'll send you something saying this is what you know. It's since it's new, let me check. Let me see. So it's for people going through OWF. So it's Ohio Works First that are over
Yes.
24. They're active in OWF Employment Incentive Program, or they're
Mhm.
on SNAP and enrolled in the Strive program. So if they're on SNAP but not enrolled in the Strive program, they just need to call their caseworker and get enrolled in that Strive program, and then um, they can go through that launch program.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I think this is what you're doing is absolutely, absolutely amazing. And oh, one of the questions I wanted to ask you,
Mhm.
because I noticed that you do have people from different backgrounds and different faiths. She said, "Got it. This sounds like an awesome event." Yes. My question is, while we may be Christians and our faith is that, for those who may be other faiths, I'm sure you don't negate their faith. Do you help them better embrace their spirituality? Because we talked about poverty earlier, and you mentioned that poverty is not only economic, but it's emotional, it's spiritual as well as economical. So with that spiritual component, do you encourage them to embrace their faith so that it can help them as our faith helps us? We can't force people to believe like we believe, and nor can we condemn how they believe. So helping them to embrace that belief, because that spirituality is the piece that gets us all through anything and everything that we're going through, regardless to whether you're a Buddhist, a Hindu,
Mhm.
a Muslim. You know, if you're standing on your faith, that faith is what gets us where we need to be and who we need to be. So can you kind of touch on that?
Yes, one of the classes in that first 6 weeks, when we're talking about, well, really in that first 2 weeks, that 6 weeks, when we're working on that personal development, it's identity development. And we talk about your past. And one of the things we talk about is what defines your past, what really got you to be who you are. And one of the things is what you believe in. And we kind of talk about, do you believe in God or a higher power? And if you do, we kind of have them list 3 things that they believe in about that. Or if you don't believe that, what is it that you turn to? You have to turn to something in those times. What is it that you turn to? Because those kind of things are going to determine. And then we go into who was your mother or mother figure in your life, your father figure in your life, those teachers or coaches and things like that, that all made impressions that ultimately make you who you are. So we kind of touch on those. We do an optional spiritual class that is Christian based. It's we don't do optional spiritual classes for any other faith. But during class, if someone wants to talk about their religion that is not Christianity, we do not shut that down. We allow them to talk about their faith, just as we talk about ours openly, and how it helps them get through the rough times or brought them to where they are today.
That's beautiful. And we need more of that. We need more of that. And I'm sure as you are working with now, do you call them clients or participants? How do you identify them?
We call them leaders, and we call them that
Okay.
because they're leading the change in their lives.
I love it. I love it.
We tell them on day one that really, if they don't make it through the program, it's because of their choices that they make. They're going to make the choice to be successful or not. We'll put in 100% of what you put in. We'll equal whatever you do, but we're not going to do anything for you. I have so many people say, well, you guarantee me a job. And I say, I do not
No.
guarantee you anything, because if you go into your interview and recite ABCs, you're not going to get hired, and I can't do an interview for you. I can give you all the skills, but if you don't follow through, you don't put the work in. Relationship is a huge part of our program. We have a Wednesday night portion of our program. Our leader program is in person because relationship matters. And I think we learned that, during COVID more than anything. People still don't value it, but I feel like COVID taught us so much more than you have to be around people. But we're here Monday through Thursday. We ask 9 to noon. That's all we ask. And I'm very conscious about time. And so if we ever run over, I always tell people, you can leave. If you need to be somewhere, you can leave. I only asked you for 9 to noon. But when I say 9, if it's 9:01, you're late.
I know
Time
that's
matters.
right. It
Because
does
when
matter.
an employer, I'm not trying to be difficult. I know, I had a leader say, Miss Diana, if you just gave me 5 minutes. I said, if I gave you 5, you'd take 10. An employer doesn't want to give you 5. I'm trying to set you up for success. So we
Absolutely.
have 9 to noon Monday through Thursday, but then we ask Wednesday nights, and we ask 6 to 8 on Wednesday nights. We do provide childcare for that Wednesday nights for 6 months to 11. And if you're interested in being a childcare worker, we do pay for that position. We need childcare workers. So
Okay.
go to our website and you can email the info at Elevate Life Network, and we'd love to send you some information. But that's where we really focus on that relational poverty. We all gather for a meal. We used to sit down for meals. We don't anymore. We're too busy. We're going through the drive-thru. We sit
Yes.
down and we have a meal. At this point, because our program's small enough, we still have 2 ladies that are cooking a home-cooked meal in the kitchen. I don't know how long we can sustain that for, so I don't want to make a promise. But right now, that's what we have, and it's a wonderful meal. And for the ones going through the September one, we'll go over Thanksgiving. We do a Friendsgiving where everyone who is able to brings in something. A lot of them bring in something from their culture, and we just share a friend's meal. But we sit down for a meal together, and then we have a topic of the night. It can be anything. We've talked about gratitude. We've talked about what being present in what it means to be really present in a moment. So just different things. And then we have volunteer allies. And again, if you want to be an ally, if you're interested in it, go to elevatelifenetwork.com. There's a form to fill out. And it's a 6-month commitment. We ask you to be there because it's really important that you show up for these leaders. They've had enough people show up conveniently for them in their lives. We need someone to be there through the thick and I understand you're going to be sick. I understand, but don't tell me that you planned a vacation during this 6 months. They need someone that's going to show up for them. I miss my daughter's soccer games because of this, because they are, when they hear that, it makes a difference because
Absolutely.
They are important. They haven't had people show up for them, most of them like that. And so those allies are small group leaders. We put them in small groups. And that's really where they can start to build true relationships. They're with that same small group from the start to the end. So for 6 months, and in the very beginning, they make rules that so that they have safety, whatever it is that they need, so that they know um, that they can talk freely. And we always tell them at the very beginning, we talk about the 7 levels of relationship, and you never owe anybody your story or your entirety of your story. However much you want to
Yes.
give, that's up to you. Um,
Yes.
so,
I love it.
um, but you should be able to say something to them. Um, so, and that tends to be what our leaders say is their favorite at the end. They don't like it at the beginning. They think, I'm going to come because you're going to give me a career certificate. But at the end, they love it. But we always say there's no significant change without significant relationship.
Absolutely. And I just want to acknowledge a couple people that are here. Ken
Uh-huh.
Green, thank you for being here. You said together. Okay. And then Futina, she says, that's awesome. Everything that you said. And she also says she loves the fact that you hold them accountable. That's
Mhm.
so important,
Yes.
because you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. You can give
Mhm.
them all the tools and all the opportunities and all the doors to open, but if they're not willing to take those steps and to hold themselves accountable and not make excuses for what did not happen and why it did not happen, and also understanding that accepting responsibility
Mhm.
is so important. And that time thing, I'm with you 100%.
Mhm.
If the class starts at 9, be there. And
Mhm.
I know with Ohio Means Jobs, when they do their orientations, if you're 3 minutes late, you're gone. You can't get in.
Mhm. Mhm.
And that's how it should be. Time is
Mhm.
very important. Your time is valuable. So I love
Well, I
what
mean,
you're
I'm
doing.
trying to set them up for success. I know that they
Yes.
think I'm trying to be, but I want to make sure that the leaders we have coming out of this program are quality employees. And then that way, whenever they see, oh, this is an Elevate Life graduate, they have a better chance at getting a job. Right now, we're trying to get. I mean, we're new, but eventually, if we start having quality employees come out of our program, they're going to say, I'm going to hire that one over this one because they have Elevate Life Network. And
Yes.
I mean, if that means that sometimes people don't make it through, I always welcome them back. I mean, you can come back in a next cohort or class if you feel like it's a better time in your life. I realize that life happens and it hits you sometimes, and ours we always have the hard conversations of maybe it's just not the right time for you right
Yeah.
now. But but we walk through them. I have my my 3 girls, and I take completely full responsibility of walking through life with them to get them to owning their own pond. That's my goal for them, to have that
Yes.
American dream. The jury's still out if they're going to hit that goal. I don't know. My oldest is 17, so she's a little closer, but I have one that's 4. I mean, I don't know if they'll accomplish that. But what if we looked at our neighbors and said the same thing? Um, if we entered into intentional relationships with our neighbors, not to control them
Yes.
by any means, but to support them as they're trying to walk
Yes.
through a journey and walk
Yes.
alongside them. But we have to take responsibility for our part in that journey.
Yes.
Now we
Yes.
can't, again, we can't make choices for them. It's one of the hardest parts is watching somebody make a decision that I'm think, oh, that's not the right one, and letting
But
them do that. Um, you know, but they have to choose to show up. They have to choose to put the work in. They have to choose to make those hard changes in their life. And those are hard to I never tell anybody this is easy. Um, that's why for the leader program, we make sure that their basic needs have to be met. They can't be homeless or couch searching. So if your basic needs aren't met, this is just it's hard. I don't
yes.
try and tell you it's easy. Changing your life is hard. But we'll walk through it with you. 100%. So, but a lot of people have they've been through it. They've made some
Yes.
mistakes. Some of them, some big mistakes, some deep mistakes.
Yes.
They carry a lot of deep shame with them. They need someone to have a deep relationship with them that can say, you know what? Yeah, but you still I still believe in your worth and your
Yes.
potential, and
Yes.
lift them up because they've been told you're not. And how many people go through this program and say, I haven't told my friends, I haven't told anybody, because if I tell them I'm going through this, they're going to pull me down. They need us to walk through.
Yes. That is
And one of the,
beautiful. We're running out of time.
oh, I'm sorry, go ahead. Yeah, nope, yeah,
You're
oh,
just
go ahead.
gonna have
Go
to
ahead.
come back.
Yeah, you're good.
Because we've got
Yep, yep, 1
5
minute, you're
seconds.
good. Yep.
So I appreciate you being here and what you're doing. God bless you for being a blessing. And I will be speaking to your group in
Yes,
November. So I'm
yes.
excited about that as well. Diana, you have been a light, you have been a joy, and you have given valuable information. And what you're doing with Elevate Life Network, you're doing what you're walking the talk. You're doing what it is that your organization is all about. Elevating life. And you know what, audience? Each of us need to play a part in elevating a life, especially now when so much is going on that is negative, that is dark. We need to be a light to elevate a life. So promise me that this week, this weekend, you're going to make it a point to elevate a life by giving a smile, by lifting, giving an encouraging word, by supporting someone who is feeling down. Now is the time. And if we don't do it, who's going to do it? And remember, united we stand, divided we fall. We've got to stand together and we've got to help lift others in the process. So God bless you. And Diana, if you will hold on, and again, you can reach her. Her email is diana.spalding at elevatelifenetwork.com. Her website is elevatelifenetwork.com. If you would hold on and
Yes,
not
ma'am.
leave right away, okay. So thank you all for being here. Have a wonderful, wonderful remaining week and weekend. And just enjoy, enjoy, love on each other, love on your family, love on your friends, love on people you don't even know. You may be the only one that's ever given them that love. And with that, I'm going to say, God bless. Good night.
The Vera